Part 2. Understanding the call driver. On this lesson, we are going to talk about getting more information from the customer to find out how you can help or assist them. Let's look at a sample call to help you understand the best phrases to use. A customer has applied for a subscription at Company X Mobile, and they need to send the complete application forms and requirements with no errors. The customer's application for an upgraded postpaid subscription, however, was declined. You need more information on their application and find out why the subscription application was declined. If the application is declined, it means that Company X Mobile refused to approve. Or maybe the application documents submitted were incomplete. So most likely, the customer is unhappy or disappointed. But you need to make sure you completely understand what's going on so that you can help solve or give clarity to the issue. Before we go to the lines and phrases, remember that you need to show a little sympathy that this happened. Sympathy is a feeling of care and concern for someone and is largely used to convey commiseration or pity for someone who is experiencing a misfortune. Showing sympathy in your words and tone of voice allows you to communicate that you understand their problem. Lines such as, "I'm sorry to hear it was declined," will be very helpful. This is a very common expression showing the customer that you understand how they feel. "Sorry to hear that was declined" doesn't convey sympathy, even if the words used should have. A big part of this would be your tone. There is a much better way of delivering the line. "Sorry to hear that it was declined," and say it very quickly, not like groveling with apologies. It just makes it feel a bit more polite. Then you can move on to gathering information required so you can put clarity to the situation. Let's look at some expressions that can help us get the needed information. To be able to give meaningful feedback, you need to be able to trace the application, maybe through questions that start with what, like, "What is the application tracking number?" Or where, like, "Where did you submit the application forms?" Or when, like, "When was the application filed?" Best to first ask the question that will enable you to effectively and efficiently trace the application, purchase, or whatever the submitted documents are. What is the application reference number? Could you give me the application reference code? If the customer is holding an application form, you may even need to tell where the reference number is found. Could you tell me the number on the top left corner of the receiving copy, underneath the label that says reference number? One of the most common things that customers complain about when they call customer service is that they get confused. The conversation is not face-to-face, so it's harder. Being specific helps. It also helps you get clear answers for yourself. You also need to be very specific in the details that you provide to the person you're talking with. You need to say specifically where something is located. Go to the upper left-hand portion below the date entry. It's usually above the name field. Sometimes there's no application code, and it can already be traced with the name of account holder. Sometimes you need to know where the application was filed. Could you let me know where you applied? Where did you submit the application forms? In a branch, or was it submitted online? Which branch did you submit the application to? To really understand something, we need to get the simple details. Maybe you also need to know when the application was filed. When did you send the application? When was the application filed? What is the date of the application? What if you also need to know some specific information to be able to give the status of the application or the exact reason why the application was declined? Then you might also go into asking questions such as, "Could you tell me the postpaid service plan that you applied for?" "Could you tell me what is written on the notice that your application has been declined?" Be as specific as you can so that the customer or the person you're talking with doesn't feel frustrated. It's very easy to get frustrated, especially if you don't understand something. It's important to remember that maybe you talk to customers all day, so you're very comfortable with it. But the customer maybe has never talked to customer service before in their entire life. So you have to keep that in mind, and being very specific helps to make them feel you know exactly what you're talking about. Aside from could you, a good phrase to add on your questions is, may I, so that it will sound more polite. May I know when you sent the application? May I know where the application was filed? May I know the plan that you applied for?